great men, reached and kept, were not attained by a sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night. A very good morning. We extend a warm welcome to one and all gathered here today to be a part of the inaugural session of Erudite, Confluence of the Wise, embarking on a journey of a series of lectures to provoke conversations that matter and be inspired by the wise and experienced. Before we set the ball rolling, I'd like to call upon Mr. Obadiah Ray. He serves as the President of Indian Student Parliament and also is now working closely with Nobel laureate and former Vice President of United States of America, Al Gore, on the science of climate change and solutions for the climate crisis to shape a better world to live in. I proudly welcome our friend, Mr. Obadiah, to shed some light on one of the most critical crises we all are facing today, climate change.
Can I hear you? A very good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So, my name is Obadiah and I've been a student here for the last 2 years. I've studied Masters in Business Administration and I've been on this stage for more than 10 times hosting all the events, and today I'm not here as an host, but then I'm here to talk. So I really consider it as a very great privilege that is given to me by the management and by Father Joji and Sadhna ma'am and the other lecturers and the faculty of this institution. And so I have been working with the Climate Reality Project. This project is started by the former US Vice President and the Nobel Peace Laureate Al Gore. So all the world is focusing on development, industrialization, globalization, and then increased benefits to the human lives to make life to make lives better around the world. So while all the governments and every individual is striving to become better, but we tend to neglect something that is very important. We tend to neglect our basic necessities. We only have one planet that we live in. We have only one planet, we do not have a planet B to move into. And then we've been neglecting the resources that the planet is giving unto us, and we are on the road to progress, on the road to success. We are leading to destruction of our own planet where we are living. So it is very important for us to realize that on our road to success and on our road to go where we wanted to be, we should also consider that this planet is the only source of life that all of us have and all of us share. It is not the greed of a person that gets us to a next level, but it is all about coming together, working as a commune to protect it and make it a better place for all of us to live. So over this presentation, I'm going to take you through a journey which talks about the climate issue is not only here in Hyderabad, it's not just the issue of India, it is the issue of the world. And my focus is, it is not just the United Nations or the presidents of the countries that needs to discuss about the climate issue, but students like you and me, because we are the people who live on this planet. It is our responsibility. If not for us, who else will talk about this? We are the ultimate people who will be benefited out of this better climate. So it is our responsibility to be aware about the issues that are happening and how we can control and protect this planet and make this world a better place for not only us, but for the coming generations. So you will have a video where the students talk about the climate change. They ask the question, why not?
There's so much power the world has, but we just don't do anything.
This isn't just us we're losing. This is future generations, the planet as a whole.
For me, this is not a problem that will only affect our future generations, but one that affects me now.
Why?
Why?
My question to the United Nations is, why? Why do you sit here and pretend and do nothing?
Why do we continue doing nothing when these drastic weather changes are already claiming the lives of people?
Why wait until it's too late to stop using fossil fuels?
Why do we continue to scour the globe for the last of the dwindling resources?
Why don't you take more action? What are you leaders afraid of?
The environmental issues that are most important to me. For one, it's the drought,
The dredging of the Great Barrier Reef, the deforestation in Tasmania.
the dam that provides my city with water is predicted to be drying up by next month.
All these organisms are becoming extinct.
Com a floresta amazônica sendo destruída, muita pouca umidade vem aqui para a região sul e sudeste, então provavelmente daqui a alguns anos a gente passa a ter pouquíssima água aqui.
My dad wanted to try put a wind turbine in our garden. The council said no, it doesn't look pretty enough. If we actually want to try make a change, you've got to help us try make a change. When my generation grows up, we may not have the time to hold summits about climate because it will have already affected us too much.
To the leaders of the UN, I would like to ask, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not come up with region-specific solutions?
Why not?
Make the change to clean energy. Why not focus on increasing the efficiency of renewable energy sources?
Why not inform and engage the students of this generation to act upon climate change?
Why not give tax benefits on green energy?
Por que não criar programa mais forte de proteção ambiental?
Why not be committed to a future for your people? Me and the whole next generation are counting on you.
Why not now?
Why not now? Why not now?
So, to protect it, preserve it. So let's look at some of the issues that took across the globe in about last 20 years. These are the major events that shook the globe. So all this is because of the wrath of the earth that we are living in. So let's just take a quick look at the major events that took place in the world. So there is one thing unique about this. There is a flood in 1940, there is a flood in 1970, there is a flood in 2000. But every time there is a flood, we are reaching a new benchmark. In 1950, when there was a flood, they said this is a remarkable flood and this has made the history. Never in the human life we had such a flood. But then when we had a flood again in year 2000, it is the same thing that has been said. So every time the wrath of earth is going higher on the scale. Every time a new degree, a new level is being increased. How many of you have enjoyed the summer vacation? How was the heat in the summer? We set a new history. This is said to be the 5th largest heat wave that hit the earth. And then this is one of the largest heat waves that hit India ever. And the same thing was featured in the newspapers last year as well. But since we did not make any changes, since we did not try analyzing what are we doing to ourselves, we just neglected the issue, and as a result, we see another heat wave that is larger than the last year. Similarly about the rains, this is a rainy season. It's supposed to be raining every day, but we hardly see rains. This leads to water scarcity, and then we have issues with drinking water, and then that leads to a lot of other civic society issues. So it is very important for us to analyze. So we will show you a video which showcases the major events that took place in last 2 decades.
Home to all 7 billion of us. Home to best friends, first loves, and Oreo cookies. We've had some good times on this rock. We figured out how to make fire. We've made some great music. Then, of course, there was this. We've also pushed through some tough times together.
I have a dream.
Now we are faced with another challenge, one so massive and so all-encompassing that it's hard for many of us to even grasp. Earth, our home, is in trouble. Carbon pollution is warming our planet, melting sea ice and creating stronger and more frequent storms, droughts, floods, and wildfires. And we're all paying the price for it in some way. Food and water scarcity, declining health conditions, livelihoods lost. Entire systems and infrastructures being stretched to the brink. People, whole communities even, forced off the land they've lived on for generations. And it's happening everywhere. And while we scramble, While we airlift the stranded and heal the sick, while our precious tax dollars are diverted to rebuilding and digging out, while we are paying for these costs, others are profiting. Like the fossil fuel industry. In 2012, 6 of the top 10 companies on Fortune magazine's Global 500 list were oil and gas companies, which combined made $123.2 billion in profit. And there's another few trillion worth of fossil fuel on their books waiting to be burned in the future. And hey, profit is great as long as it's not destroying our planet. And while the carbon pollution that these industries are constantly pumping into our air drastically changes our atmosphere, weather patterns, and ecosystems, these polluters aren't required everywhere to regulate or limit their carbon pollution emissions. They don't have to clean up the pollution they make, and they're not being held responsible for the damages they're creating. They're not paying for it.
Recovery cost is about $32 billion.
11 billion euro humanitarian catastrophe.
More roads than a blockhouse was consumed.
Water's getting scarcer. Rising sea level.
Greenhouse gases that are altering.
This planet has become a living hell.
But here's the good news. There is a solution. Polluters must pay the cost of carbon pollution, and they can do it through a number of market-based policies, like a fee that takes into account how much it will cost to manage this mess, or putting a limit on emissions and creating a market for carbon trading. And we have to stop political leaders from giving fossil fuel companies billions in tax breaks and giveaways. And for leaders who deny the reality of climate change, we must use our voices and our votes to exact a political price. When we put a price on carbon, energy companies and utilities will be forced to make their operations cleaner and lower their pollution. As a result, clean energy like renewables will continue to get cheaper and cheaper because the polluters won't be able to give us fire sale prices on carbon, which is actually costing us a bundle in other ways. And that means we'll all be able to make better, smarter choices about the energy we're consuming. And by the way, polluters paying for their mess isn't a new concept. We know that it works because we've done it before. Like back in 1952, when air pollution from the Industrial Revolution created a layer of smog over London so thick that it became impossible to see, the clever folks of Great Britain passed the Clean Air Acts of 1956, making polluters pay through stricter rules. A famous leader once said, "Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future." The time has come to decide for our future.
We are all in this together.
We can do nothing and continue to pay the price as carbon polluters pump endless amounts of CO2 into our atmosphere. Or carbon polluters pay their share, reduce carbon pollution, and give our planet a chance to catch its breath. There is only one way forward. It's time to end the denial and embrace opportunity. It's time to put a price on carbon.
Once we watched a lazy world go by. Now the days seem to fly. Life is brief, but when it's gone, love goes on and on.
Anything new, we thought everything is going good, but simultaneously we have also led to the destruction. So we have been emitting a lot of carbon. So carbon is one of the major reasons for pollution, and pollution is leading to the destruction of the environment. There's been a lot of intense research that has been done around the world, and in fact, if you have the knowledge of the Uruguay round, the UN has been doing it. It's done a lot of years before. And they've been working on bringing one universal policy that will put price on carbon emission, because carbon is the primary source of pollution around the world. And you can be thinking carbon is not something that you produce or you are the reason for the carbon pollution, but let me tell you, it is very much everybody of us are contributing to the carbon emission. It is not just the fossil fuel industries or some giant industries or the travel transportation corporations, or it's not just them, but individual you and I as well are contributing to this. So it is very important. So my primary purpose of being here this day is I am invited to be at Conference of Parties, Conference of Youth on 21st of November in Paris, which is 1 month ahead, where the world leaders will meet in the same place to discuss the Conference of Parties on the climatic issues. So what I'm trying to do here is raise an awareness among the students in the colleges and try to find out what are the issues that they are facing in their areas. So I'm currently working in Hyderabad today. So I would like to know what are the issues that you are facing in Hyderabad. How many of you have received a sheet of papers? Yeah, so on one side of the paper, you are requested to write what are the issues that are facing and what do you think will be the feasible solutions. And on the back side, write your name and your email ID and your college name and your class name. So what I'm trying to do is gather all your petitions and put them together and submit it to the local government before I head to the Paris Convention in November. And hoping that the government will take an action and move a step ahead in protecting our environment and our climate. So meanwhile, as you do that, I will take you through a small presentation and the pictures, some of the pictures. So this is a picture of the Earth that is taken from the moon by the NASA space station. How beautiful does the planet look here? There are only 3 images that have been clicked about the Earth till the year 2014, and all the 3 pictures are here. This is how the Earth looks like. Yeah. This is the only evidentical image that we have about our planet even till date. Okay, so I'll take you through a small journey in about 2 minutes as to how this carbon is generated and how it is contributing, because we consider carbon as one of the major reasons for this pollution. So we get the solar radiations from the sun, and the heat waves pass through the Earth. And once the heat waves pass through the Earth, we have the layer that protects the ozone layer that protects the heat waves from entering into the Earth. So there are this. So because of the carbon, we are leading to the destruction of the ozone. So because of the destruction of the ozone, what is happening is the infrared radiations are increasingly stored back in the Earth. The infrared radiations are not going out of the Earth, and that is increasing the heat levels. I'll show you one of the pictures where it talks about the heat increase in the planet. Yeah. So on an average, if you compare, this is the heat degree. And the carbon emission that we are polluting is causing to the destruction of the atmosphere. And yeah. So you see that some of the outgoing infrared radiations is tapped by the Earth's atmosphere and warms it up. So this is one of the reasons why we have extreme levels of heat waves in the summer. So it is very important for us to be aware that the climate is changing, and it is very important for all of us to understand and do an action and do our bit to reduce carbon emissions. So there are a lot of ways that we as students can do. We can reduce, simple ways are reduce the usage of plastic bags or plastic substances. It can be your plastic bottles or anything that's close to plastic, and you can replace it by using biodegradable products. And then number two, probably if you're living in less than about 3 kilometers to 4 kilometers, you can probably cycle down to college rather than using an individual bikes. And another simple solution can be you can use public transport instead of using a private vehicle, private car, or a private bike to come here. So these are some of the issues, and I have also written down an article about the climate change and probably what Loyola can adopt it, the students of Loyola can adopt it, so that will be up in the first edition of the Commerce Department news magazine that is coming up, so you can take an issue of it and you can go through. Thank you for your time, and you can pass on all the sheets to the corners of your chairs, and one of the volunteers will walk through and pass it. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Earthling in us to save the world we live in. The wisdom of erudite is realizing that motivation is inconsequential. Motivation is what gets you started, and habit is what gets you going. On this wonderful occasion, we are truly honored to have with us two eminent personalities amidst us. The lecture series organized by Loyola Academy Degree and PG College, Erudite Confluence of the Wise. With an eagerness to personally witness the ensuing enrapturing sessions of inspiring lectures, I once again mingle their water in the sea. So different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to God. So without much delay, may I request you all to arise and remain in reverence as we invoke the blessings of Almighty to help us be better achievers.
He works in ways we cannot see. He will be love and strength for each new day. He will make a way. He will make a way. By a roadway in the wilderness, He'll lead me.
our principal, and Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, our vice principal, to light the lamp. May the darkness of ignorance be swept away by self-realization as we light the lamp. Thank you. It gives me immense pleasure to take this opportunity to welcome the dignitaries onto the dais. Reverend Father Dr. K.S. Casimir, our principal, Mr. Sam Rufus, Mr. Ayyappa Nagubandi, and Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy. May I now request Reverend Father Dr. K.S. Casimir to felicitate Mr. Sam Rufus with a shawl. He'll now present Mr. Sam Rufus with a memento. I also request Father to present him with a portrait sketched by Miss Prasanna Murali, mother of Miss Bhavna Murali, who is a co-committee member of Team Erudite. Thank you, Father. Thank you, sir. May I now request Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy to felicitate Mr. Ayyappa Nagubandi with a shawl. He'll now present Mr. Ayyappa with a memento. I also request Reverend Father to present him with a portrait sketched by Miss Prasanna Murali, mother of Miss Bhavna Murali, who is a co-committee member of Team Erudite. Thank you, Father. Thank you, sir. May I now request Reverend Father Dr. K.S. Casimir, our principal, to address the gathering.
It's indeed a great day, an exhilarating day, and it's going to be etched in the memory and heart of each and every one of us, because it is opening a new chapter in the history of Loyola Academy. We have heard of TED, TEDx, etc., but Loyola Academy today, with the presence of Mr. Sam Rufus and Ayyappa Nagubandi, are opening a new chapter in the intellectual renaissance, in the cultural rebirth of Loyola Academy. On this momentous occasion, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome Mr. Sam, our own old student who studied computer science and engineering in our Loyola Academy. And Mr. Ayyappa Nagubandi, who was rejected by Loyola Academy, and he has risen to greater heights. And it was shared by him, this information was divulged by himself. And I also extend a very warm welcome to Mahalakshmi and Hriday. On behalf of Loyola Academy, and behalf of Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, the Vice Principal, UG Section, on behalf of Madam Sadhana, the coordinator, the person who visualized this entire program, and Madam Ratnavani, and all the members of the staff, and you, my dear students. It is a momentous occasion because we are envisaging a bright future, a brilliant future for each one of you. And I hope by inviting people like Mr. Sam and Ayyappa Nagabandi, you'll be inspired, you'll be driven to achieve greater and greater things, not merely for yourself, but for our society, for our community, for our country and world at large. In order to achieve great things, beautiful things, profound things, and lasting things, you need to do three things. First of all, each one of you has to discover the divinity within you, the divine within you. Now, what is this divinity or divine within you? It is nothing but the best that God has planted within you. It is the best and the brilliant that God has endowed you with. It is the best and brilliant that lies dormant within you, hidden within you. You need to discover that. You need to discover that. Having discovered that, you'll be able to discover your unique talent, that special gift that you, each one of you, possesses. Remember, in the entire globe, there is no one individual like you. That is your uniqueness. That is your speciality. No individual like you lived, no individual like you lives, no individual never ever will be born on this planet. In that sense, each of you is unique. I hope you understand this core concept, fundamental idea that you are unique. You are put on this planet not just to find a job, complete your degree, find a job, and have a family, and then children, and then die. No, you are put on this planet for a much greater purpose. To achieve a far more radiant dream. And for that, you need to understand that you have a unique talent. Now, what is this unique talent or the special gift that God has given you? It is not being on the TV, it's not being in the press, it's not being felicitated by the country, it is not rubbing shoulders with the high and the mighty. No. It can be very simple or very grandiose. It could be very ordinary or it can be earth-shaking. It does not matter whether it is big or small, but you are put on this planet to achieve something. You may become a world-class carpenter. You may become a world-class gardener. You may become a world-class plumber, whatever it is. If you can do it to the best of your ability, in the best way possible, you'll be a happy person. You'll be a fulfilled person. The world chases money. The world chases fame. The world runs after name. But all those things are passing. They don't last. Only thing that lasts is your contribution and your legacy. In order to leave that legacy, you need to identify your true passion, the special gift, your true talent. Until you discover that, you'll remain an unhappy person, an unfulfilled person, a disgruntled person. That's why even people who make billions are not happy. Even people who achieve great fame commit suicide. But there are people who are very ordinary, yet you can see in their face a radiant joy, a sense of fulfillment. We would like each and every one of you to become like that. So discover the divinity within you, identify unique talent that God has given you, and above all, ask yourself, how I can express that unique talent, that special gift in the service of others, That alone will make you a happy person, a fulfilled person. A few years back, India Today ran a special, the most powerful people in the country. And who was the most powerful person in the country in that edition? Any guess? Any guess? It was not Adani's, Ambani's, Birla's, Tata's, Prime Minister's, President, no. A humble man, a simple man, who had no wealth to speak of, was made the most powerful man, Anna Hazare. He was featured as the most powerful person. In other words, the age of affluence is over, my dear students. We are entering an age of influence. And your influence springs from your character, your intellectual stature, your integrity, and above all, the legacy that you are going to leave. How many lives you are going to affect positively. How many lives you are going to affect positively. That alone will matter. That alone will matter. So remember these things. Today we have in our midst two people who have achieved this self-fulfillment, who are in the process of leaving a legacy, affecting the lives of people positively. I hope you will take away from them something you can ruminate over, something that will inspire you, something that will capture your imagination, so that each one of you here becomes a person that God intended to be, a happy, fulfilled human being who will leave this planet, this earth, in a better shape, so that the posterity will look back and say, he or she lived a life worthy of a human being and left a legacy. Hence, we are able to live a happy and fulfilled life. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. I'm confident that our young minds have truly been endowed with a great amount of wisdom by your words. May I now request Mr. Obedia to come on to the dais, and may I also request Reverend Father Dr. K.S. Casimir, our principal, to felicitate him with a shawl. Obedia has completed his MBA from Loyola Academy Degree and PG College. He is the President of Indian Student Parliament. He is now an associate of the former Vice President of United States, Al Gore, who is also a Nobel laureate. He has been admitted to university in Moscow with a golden scholarship, and he'll be moving to Moscow in a month or so. Now, may I request Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy to felicitate Mr. Obedia with a memento. May I now request all the dignitaries to kindly be seated among the audience.
In spite of his hardship, he came up in life. I mean, it's an amazing inspirational story. But many of us in this room are blessed. We didn't have to go through the circumstances that he went. And so there's no pressure for us to do the side thing and grow from the side. My parents will give me everything. My father will give me money. My mother will do this for me. Pelli cheskunta, America vota, daanle mundi. Boys will do Pallu visa, marry a girl from America, or girls will do another reverse case. You never heard of Pallu visa before? Okay, come to me, I'll teach you. A lot of Telugu good girls in America who are looking for good boys in India, like you only, smart, handsome boys like you. So when they come and marry you and go, it's called Pallu visa. Alright? On the Pallu, whatever, yeah. I'm not worried at all. We're living lives every single day, meandering, just existing. Being risk averse and not. I actually want to show you a little video in terms of risk aversion. Just this little video, if you can play for me, please. At least that's what I'm hearing on the stage. Like, it's not working. Oh my God. And thank you so much, everybody. God bless and see you all. Bye. My presentation is over. Should I? Actually, we jump the slide. Don't worry. Don't worry about the video. I myself am living video here. Just go back to the PowerPoint. No problem. The computer hanged up. Windows, you have to reboot. Standard process, standard operating process, Windows. Yeah. While you're all seated, how many of you really want to be entrepreneurs? Show me your hands. You want to be entrepreneurs. Very good number. I think you should, another thing is... Dismiss. Yeah. Okay, very simple, before that video comes on.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, wasting her time, she's too shy to put her best foot forward. Turned down by the Decca recording company who said, we don't like their sound and guitar music is on the way out. A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. Told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died, he failed in business twice, he had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
If you've never failed, what does it say? Mark Zuckerberg was reading when he hired Sheryl Sandberg. You know who Sheryl Sandberg is? What? Okay. Chief Operating Officer. When he hired Sheryl Sandberg, 300 hours of interview. How many hours? Over a period of time, right? One of the questions he kept on asking her was, how did she handle failure? How did she handle failure? Did she even try and fail? Or did she never try and not fail? You know, the world is looking for people who've tried and failed. You know, in Deloitte, where I used to work earlier, at least 5 vice presidents I know who earlier had their own businesses. They failed, they came back, they actually went up the ladder in Deloitte. They're partners and senior partners in Deloitte right now. They do well, they do extremely well. If you've never tried, put your first foot on the water for the river to part, things will not happen otherwise. I want to encourage you, young as you are, before you get into this rut, two things happen, by the way, when you get into a job. Two things happen. One, you get... Are you listening, everybody? Yes. Stay away from credit card loans and debt. As soon as you get a job, the first thing you want to do is buy the greatest bike or the car or whatever you want to show off to your girlfriend or boyfriend and say, you know what, now I'm worthy now. I'm like, you know, I've arrived. Louis Phillips shirt, Van Heusen, you know, jockey, banyan, all of those things you want to do. When I first joined my job, my boss, again an IIT guy, IIM guy, like, yeah, Rufus, you've earned it, man, you've earned it. So now spend it. And so I remember, I clearly remember, 25,000 Sony hi-fi, system, I went and swiped on my credit card. When I started swiping, slowly, I bought the next BlackBerry phone. I've been a big phone addict for even now I am, but BlackBerry phone, back in the day. I kept swiping and swiping and swiping till it took me, and listen to this, so that you don't get into this debt trap. Everybody say debt trap. Don't get into the debt trap. It took me 3 years to pay off all my credit card debt. I had the spark of entrepreneurship back in 2000. Yes, I had at least 4 or 5 ideas. And I knew I could execute them. I knew I could speak well. I knew I could garner support of other people to join me and accomplish that. But I couldn't put annam papu on the table for them or for me. Why? Because I had this avariciousness, this thing I need to swipe. That's the first problem that can happen to you before you're an entrepreneur. You know what the second thing can happen? Not a problem really. You can get married. And you can have children. And now it becomes even more difficult to leave a stable multinational company job and take a risk and become an entrepreneur. Isn't that correct? Same thing happened to me. Two things that probably affect half of India or half of working multinational Indians who are, who have the entrepreneurial spark but missed out on being an entrepreneur is these two major reasons. The debt trap, whether you buy a car or a bike or a credit card or a house or loan, whatever you have. And the second one is the family thing, right? Your children come, your wife comes, and then your father-in-law says, "Tu kya kaam kar rahe hai?" I remember my father-in-law coming first. I said, "I'm working in Deloitte." Deloitte, that taxi company. Back in the day, if you know Deloitte, they had all these chota taxis, cab with all Deloitte green dot written on it everywhere. Deloitte green dot, Deloitte green dot. And so my father-in-law thought I was working in a taxi company. Yes, sir, not taxi driver, But anyway, so long story short, I want you to think from a future perspective. And when you graduate out of college and get your job or whatever it is, firstly, don't get a job, try to start creating a job. But even if you have a job to sustain yourself, pay off your student loans, whatever, ensure you don't get into credit card debt or any sort of debt, bike debt, car loan, whatever loan, that will stifle you from becoming a full-time entrepreneur. Is that okay? I leave you with probably last few words of advice. 3 things I believe are extremely important in terms of anything you work in. There are 3 creativities that you need to sort of imbibe in you day in and day out. Actually, one of them Ayappa already touched about. He talked about process creativity. I want to talk about this. I'm going to shift this because you want to see the video. I don't have time already. I'm running out of time. Yeah, I want to jump this. Okay. Who do you think is creative among these guys? Left guy, right guy? How many left people? Right? Why do you think he's creative? He's got a goatee here, huh? Like that, yeah. So he wears his hair differently and all. The right side? Okay, who do you think is creative here? You think this guy is creative? Why? Oh, long hair and all, huh? Stereotype. Long hair, guitar in his hand, and 2 chicks and all, huh? Creativity, listen to this carefully, has nothing, everybody say nothing, to do with the outward appearance. We people think that, oh, because he's got long hair and he's got a goatee here, the guy is extremely smart, intelligent, creative and all, and girls fall for such guys and guys fall for such girls, you mess up your entire life. Creativity has nothing. Can I deviate a little bit? You guys are like my sisters, huh? Can I deviate a little bit? Just because the guy comes in the fastest bike and all, I have to be his girlfriend. The guy will turn out to be like this. By the way, this is not a creative guy. This guy is in jail right now. Alright, I just picked up his picture to make an illustration. All the boys are clapping, huh? You fell for my best friend who's got a bike and see what will happen to him. By the way, the guy on this side is called Colonel J. Sanders, guy who founded Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, right? Age, outside appearance, the stud on your left ear doesn't matter. What really matters is burra power, what is inside your mind, what is inside your brain, right? That really matters. And I want to actually leave with you with three things of creativity. Are you ready for this very quickly? Because I'm going to run out of time before the MC kicks me out and we'll both go to jail. Number one is process creativity. We talked about process creativity. You guys learn it in college. I'm not going to talk much. Little change, little addition, little changes that you can do in your current way of doing things. I love that donkey story. I absolutely love that donkey story that Ayappa said. You remember the other story of the fish? You know the fish story? You know the fish story? You know the fish story? I will teach you the fish story. I will go to my office tomorrow and talk the donkey story. That's how you learn from each other. Remember Ayappa said, when you're an entrepreneur, talk to a lot of CEOs. Talk to them, boss. Talk to them. The fish story is, there was a man observing a fisherman, alright? Every time he caught a big fish, he threw it back into the pond. Every time he got a small fish, he correctly took it. He took it. And so this observer went and asked him, sir, you're getting big fish. You can make more money. Why don't you keep the big fish? Why are you throwing it back into the pond? He said, no, sir. I have only small fish because my frying pan in my house is very small, sir. Only so small. Process creativity. Japanese companies changed the world. Somebody came up with that one small process. The second one, obviously, is business creativity. How many of you know the story of Colgate? My favorite stories in the whole world. You guys don't know. All of you, please go and like my Facebook page and say, now I know about Colgate, okay? You know the Colgate story? Really, this is my favorite story. Even if I take extra time, I'm going to tell this story. We have time. So, Colgate wanted to know how to increase their sales. You know the story? Okay. Please put your hand on if you know and don't tell anybody else. Colgate wanted to increase their sales. And so the CEO calls for, they gave a lot of other solutions, sir. We'll do GPS tracking, we'll do this, we'll do that, we're faster to market and put on the shelf, eye level, you know, all that thing, retail marketing therapy, all that will do. Didn't help. So the CEO went to the factory, to the shop and said, you know, we want to increase the sales of Colgate. How to increase the sales of Colgate? One guy at the last row, somebody in the last row, wave your hand at me, huh? Okay, you're the smartest guy there. The black guy, okay, the last man standing. What's your name? What? Tu Murthy ka assistant hai kya? Secretary. What's your name? Very good. Have you seen Hrithik Roshan's movie Lakshya? जब बात करते हैं ना इधर से आना चाहिए इधर से अंदर से आना चाहिए you talk from your gut everybody all right what's your name again all right that's my man all right give him a big hand everybody all right. I don't need secretary boys and secretary girls to help him out all right so a Murthy at the last row working in a factory he says you know what sir very simple listen to this carefully. How to increase the sales of Colgate? It's very simple, sir. you increase the diameter of the nozzle in the Colgate toothpaste. Finally, somebody's tube light went on. You see what is happening there? Small diameter increase without you knowing it every morning when you wake up and then you put the thing. More toothpaste is coming out without you knowing it. And very soon you go back to the shop and buy more Colgates. Increase the sales of Colgate. That is what people are looking for in India, by the way. Apple, I don't know if the story is true or not, but for what it's worth, let's take it, alright? Because I like the concept of the story. Steve Jobs, when he made his first iPod, do you remember the iPod? Right? You weren't even born at that time. Ratnadeep supermarket. She goes to that one store all the time. You know why? Because once I went with her once to check out what's happening here, Vulcan. You know, that lady of the store is talking to my wife and she's saying, how's your husband? Remember last time you said he was traveling to US, is he come back, is he safe? You said your son is not well, is he fine now? Is he alright now? You said your daughter is in fourth class, what is she doing? That relationship ke wajah se, my wife doesn't go to a big supermarket with air conditioning. She goes to a dingy, good for nothing kirana store because she has a relationship. Your success will come only through relationship. And the last point, and I'll close with this, everybody. No such thing as smart work. Success, like Thomas Alva Edison said, is 99%. No. Everybody, you guys at the back can't read. Murthy, my friend, cannot read it. Murthy. Okay. Success is 99% what? Okay, I want everyone to say it with conviction. Success is 99% what? Perspiration. And only 1% inspiration. And I am here to give you only 1% of inspiration, everybody. If you want to change your life, if you want to reshape India, if you want to stop getting, if you want to get rid of the colonial hangover, 99% of the bhajyata, 99% of the responsibility is you and your perspiration. My job is over, ladies and gentlemen. I did my 1% inspiration bit. God bless you all, and may you have not just a small career, may you have a career that goes worldwide, global. Right? May you not just survive in corporate India, may you just thrive and outshine and shine everyone else. Alright? Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you. See you all.
Again, can we have a huge round of applause? And so it truly came from the bottom of our heart. It's a fantastic session. Do you all not agree? Yes. Thank you so much again for that mind-boggling session that allows us to inculcate some important values that will help shape our future. Like I said before, motivation is what gets you started, and habit is what gets you moving. So to give you all a head start, a push towards your destiny, we have 2 motivational videos coming up. You all sit back and enjoy it.
That there's something you want to do, and I believe that all of us were born with a purpose, that all of us have something that we are supposed to do, that all of us have some goodness within us, and that goodness gives us a responsibility to manifest our greatness. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, but it's necessary. It's necessary that you have it, that you work on it, that you develop yourself, that you go for what is yours in the universe. Every single day that you wake up, you better be spending time on your dream. You better be spending time on it. You ain't got time to waste. It is a sense of urgency.
It's the character of who you are. It's not the title that makes you. It's not the success that makes you. The character defines the success, defines the fame, and it starts right there. They're won in thousands of hours in the training room, in the labs, in the 5 a.m. runs, when it's raining, when everyone else is sleeping. That's when it's won. The heart of a champion is a light switch that's always on. It doesn't go on and off when someone's watching. It's constant. It's how you look at something. If your name's attached to it, and you do it right, the best of your ability every single time.
And the problem with some of y'all is you want somebody else to support your dream. It's yours. I don't owe you a dime. It's your dream. If you want it to happen, get your butt up and make it happen. If you want it to happen, rise and grind.
And if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight, to work day and night, to give up your time with peace and your sleep, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after this thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famine shall go, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want.
Of 2013, 3-time Mr. Olympia, Phil Heath!
thing called life is that it is always changing.
Margaret Heffernan once said, for good ideas and true innovation, you need human interaction, conflict, argument, and debate. The time has now come to move on to that session which most of you all are eagerly waiting for, a panel discussion with the speakers we have today. I'm delighted to invite onto the panel Mr. Ayyappa Nagubandi, Mr. Sam Rufus, and let me also welcome Mr. Obedia onto the panel, who would play the role of a moderator for the session of panel discussion. I now request Mr. Obedia to take over. Thank you.
Hello Ayyappa and hello Samuel, and once again welcome you to this dialogue here. And I have a question. So we will be discussing a few things from your personal life and your advice to the students. And in this panel, students will also pose a few questions to you directly, so you can answer to their queries as well. So, Mr. Ayyappa, in your journey from the humble origin to a celebrated man here today, you have always explored opportunities with a never give up attitude. So, can you speak about its importance to motivate our students?
Like Sam was talking about, one of the incidents that made me leave my job and start my entrepreneurial thing, I had this question all the time. I worked in Singapore for a couple of months, UK for a couple of months. The guy I was working with in UK was one of the core engineers who designed the mainframe. The kind of pride with which he was talking about. He was saying that, do you know the earliest of computers was designed by me? Then you can see the pride in him when anybody's talking. And then when I went to US, the same what Sam was talking about. No. What Sam was talking about, there are a lot of software engineers. Most of the software engineers, when you go abroad, you'd find that like say 80 to 90% of them are Indians. The middle level management, say again 80 to 90% are Indians. And you'll know that there's no global product that India has come up with. And I worked in Washington DC for a year and a half, and there was this place called Smithsonian's, which is a set of museums. Almost every weekend I used to go there. And one of those trips I noticed, I was always watching that, like, is there any product? Look around. Maybe this fan is made in India, which are the products in US. I was always looking for something which is made in India, which I could say, hey, good, we are there. Yes, we are making a difference. And in one of those walks, I saw that manhole which is covered with that, what do you call it? The sheet, that round thing which covers the manhole. And there it was written, made in India. There was a sense of pride, but there was a sense of like, yes, we can do a lot more. This is not what India is about. Yes, we sold that piece of metal to US. Good, somebody would have made money, but how much difference does it make to anybody's lives? Why can't we come up with something like Windows or say Google Chrome? And I had a long-term visa working at the World Bank, making a good amount of money. In US itself, I traveled some 25 different airlines. I just wanted to spend money and experience. That's when I thought, no, let me come back to India and make a difference. One of the earliest softwares what we made is the closest version of what Apple Siri is. We created a artificial intelligence-based voice processing application. We won a lot of awards, but unfortunately, I think maybe we were a lot ahead of time. We couldn't go to the market and we couldn't capitalize on this. But I guess the kind of applications we are building now will make a lot of change. I've been doing this for a lot of time. Nowpos was my previous company, possibly it is my present company. It's a 4-year-old company, but I think we got an idea about, say, 2 months back, which can seriously change the world, and it can earn us billions of dollars. I will be in touch with you, and I'm sure you'll read it in the news also over the next couple of months that yes, this is some software from India which can change the difference.
Thank you, Mr. Ayappa. And before we take the question from the audience, I would like to ask Mr. Samuel, in your intro, we heard your interest is in music and theatres as well. Can you talk more about it, and do you still take time to pursue them? And how do you manage your career today and your passion?
It's a very long story about my music and interest in music and movies. So short answer is yes, I do pursue them. We make a whole lot of product videos for which I play the music myself many times. There are a lot of things that I do in terms of editing, shooting the videos and all of that myself. So I do still keep in touch with a whole lot of things I used to do earlier. But I also want to say one other thing. This is back in the day, I'm talking literally 91, 92. I remember my dad saying, you know, my son will be engineer and my daughter will be doctor. And there's only 2 professions in the whole world. And I really wanted to get into Pune Films and Television Institute. I really wanted to become a film director and stuff like that. But my dad, you know, he was like, oh, my dead body and all of that. So sentimental, you know, Indian Bajrangi Bhaijaan kind of sentiment, you know, that kind of thing. And so I actually, you know, the good book says, you know, you actually obey your parents. And I actually went to that college, and that's where my whole thing about album making, skits and dramatics, where, you know, thousands of people came for my dramas and shows, and then my interest in actually editing and shooting my own videos, that actually developed because my dad sent me to that particular engineering college and I obeyed my parents in one sense. So I've kept that passion alive. I've been doing a whole lot of creative stuff on the side, and at the same time I've used that creative stuff in my professional work, in my day-to-day organization as well.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. And we will take a question from the audience. If anybody of you have a question, you can raise your hand, and you will see Tom there with the microphone.
Okay, my question is, how bad is arrogance in a person's professional life?
Okay, can you repeat the question once again, and please mention to whom are you posting the question as well?
Okay, to both Mr. Ayappa and Sam Rufus, the question is arrogance a bad thing to have for a professional?
Is arrogance a bad thing to happen in a profession? Obviously it is. See, if one is arrogant, you would have reached there. After being arrogant, like, people won't want to associate with that kind of person. Arrogance is very bad for a professional. Hey, I'll tell you, I don't mind. See, a lot of events like these are actually opportunities for you. If you ask an intelligent question, I or Sam or anybody will remember. Understand that me and Sam have been students like you, and only after that we've been here. Now if you ask father or any teacher, or say if you've met a teacher after a long time, a teacher will tell you that a teacher will remember only 2 kinds of students. One, who are extremely brilliant. They're so brilliant that they've got good marks, then they'll remember, this guy got, say, 99%. The second kind of student is who are extremely naughty. Right? The middle set of students, no teacher remember. It's the same thing. So take advantage of this. Ask intelligent questions, because if you ask an intelligent question, I or Sam or anybody will remember. So when you meet us next, this is the girl, this is the guy who asked an intelligent question. Why don't we give him an opportunity?
So my question is to Mr. Sam.
question is to Mrs.
Actually, just call me Sam. The Queen of England didn't knight me yet, so. Sir.
I read your profile, and you said that, and you wrote in that a true leader will have three essential qualities. That is, one is intelligent quotient, second is emotional quotient, and third one is spiritual quotient. We can understand intelligent and emotional, but why it is necessary to have spiritual quotient?
Thank you, sir, Vijay. So EQ, IQ, you all understand, everybody? You know, Stephen Covey talks in his book, The Speed of Trust. Okay, let me take a step back to answer. I'm just trying to think of the book name, that's all. Basically, the third one, the spiritual quotient, is not necessarily religious from a perspective of which God you worship, not that. The spiritual quotient defines your ethics, your integrity, your moral values. Because if you and I are an unethical leader, an immoral leader, a person who always is into bribing and cheating and lying, how can I have followers in my company who will follow me? Recently in my startup, we're a startup, and the law of the land is so big, so elaborate. To form a company in India, it takes no less than 90 days. And that's why India is so back. 178th best investment nations to be in. Singapore is number one because you can form a company in less than 6 hours. US 2 days or 3 days maximum you can form a company. India 90 days. So we missed out on paying the professional tax because we didn't hire a finance guy yet, and I'm completely new to this. I come from a completely different background. And so when the professional tax guy said, sir, you have to pay, according to the calculation for all these past 18 months, you have to pay, he said about 1,20,000 rupees. But, sir, pay 20,000 rupees, neni pani chesta, no problem. I said, no, we will pay 1,20,000 rupees, full thing with the bill I want. He is laughing, hey sir, because sir, we start up, just pay 20,000 rupees and manage. I said, no, we will pay the full amount, we will not pay bribe. The third spiritual quotient comes in terms of your ethics, your moral values, and your integrity. Whichever religion you belong to, your religion will teach you to be honest, to be a person of integrity, to be a person of good moral character. That's why the spiritual quotient is important.
Thank you. And
you should talk. No, I'll tell you, what's your name? Anusha, see, I've just started speaking like this maybe from a year back. Actually, it's 11 months back. I never used to stand on the stage and speak. Like you, the first couple of speeches, I used to shake. Literally, seriously. But what I realized is, see, I have a son, you would have seen. I watch a lot of animation movies with him. One of the movie is about a train engine. The engine has this fear. So another engine comes to this engine and says, like, if you have a fear about doing something, do that more often. Till you do that, you realize that it's not a fear actually. So if you have the fear of speaking, that shyness, talking, speaking on the stage, do that more often. That's all. And you'll realize that there'll be a point where you don't feel scared, you don't have that fear. That's all. Do it more. The first time, maybe you'll feel embarrassed, maybe that fear will be there, people will laugh at it. Big deal. Just speak. Just do whatever you are afraid of.
I'll just add to that, Anusha. I was just talking to Ricky on the way here. You won't believe. Do you know anybody in HR? MBTI, Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator. MBTI. You should Google it, huh? Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator. I am an I. I stands for introvert. I. N for intuition. JT. My HR director in Deloitte checked my MBTI profile 3 times. He's saying, Sam, you cannot be an introvert. You speak so well on stage, you can talk, everything. You won't believe, I came with Ricky in the car. I had butterflies in my stomach when I'm speaking. This is probably the 1000th time I'm speaking to an audience. I've talked to bigger audience of 25,000 people also. But yet, when I come up on stage, I have butterflies. It's the most common thing that any speaker, even in Toastmasters Club, will tell you. But you got to overcome, like Ayappa said, just do that thing again and again and again and again till it becomes second nature. It becomes muscle reflex. And then you speak well and you do outstandingly well. In fact, you did better than Murthy, by the way. You spoke so loud that the last stroke, Murthy, you're my best friend. I'm just kidding, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm just joking. But you actually spoke loud, so keep going at it. By the way, on this topic, can I take one extra minute because I think it'll benefit you all. My wife is so good. She teaches my children, both my children, maths, physics, chemistry, all that. But coming from that corporate background where I have rejected, 300, 400 resumes for every 1-2 jobs. You know why I've rejected? Because the person doesn't know English. If he or she doesn't know English and cannot communicate with Americans or with the Japanese clients or UK clients, how can I hire them into Deloitte? So when my daughter had a public speaking competition in her school, immediately Superman Sam jumped in and I trained her every single day on public speaking. You know why? Because when you go for a job interview, when you're doing sales and presentation, when you want to get some money from venture capitalists, when you want to sell yourself to a company for their products, everything happens through your mouth. Upper lip and lower lip has to move. If you have that inhibition of speaking, I'm sorry to say, don't get me wrong, there are others who cannot speak but yet succeed. That's a different story. God's grace is there upon them. But you and I have to necessarily be able to public speak, to be able to at least sell your vision, sell your product, sell an idea that you have come up with. Because if you don't open your mouth and bury your product, bury your idea, you will be buried like that only the rest of your life. You'll also be those middle category that Ayappa was talking about.
My next question to Ayappa. While you were talking about asking, okay, so is there any other question?
Successful because you couldn't find people to invest in that. Capital was an issue. So at a point in time when we talk about Indian products not being, not being accepted globally, do we blame the laggards in India or do we blame the capitalists who are not?
Entirely about the entrepreneur. If I am not able to convince a venture capitalist, then the venture capitalist is not at fault in investing in me. I am not able to convince. You get it?
But then the audience in India are laggards. They are not innovators or early adapters. So that makes it difficult for any person to invest because he knows that people in India won't accept it as much as people abroad do.
No,
we are not that tech savvy as you see.
No. See, acceptance, people resist change anywhere, not just in India. It may be an app, it may be an application. At the end of the day, if something is successful or not successful, it's about the entrepreneur. See, when, what do I say? Music industry has been there for ages. People buy music CDs, right? People buy music. Now, iPod, when Steve Jobs launched, he came up with a business concept. His concept was that, like, when people buy CDs, they pay, say, $20, $25. There are, say, 10 songs in that. But typically, everybody will like only 1 or 2 songs. Why should one person pay, say, even $10 to listen to, say, 10 songs, but he likes only 1 song? Why doesn't he pay only $1 to listen to his favorite song? So he changed the process. You understand, right? The process was different. He came up with a concept where initially maybe people won't understand, but once people understand that, hey, I'm only paying $1 to buy music which I want, and it's very economical, I think people will like it. Early adopters, you'll find it's about explaining that concept that, hey, boss, you don't have to pay $10 to buy 10 songs. Pay $1 to buy your favorite music. That's all. So It's not the fault about the society or the venture capitalists. It's entirely about the entrepreneur to make it successful.
So coming back to my colonial hangover topic, one of the other reasons you want to examine why that product failed because it came from India is Indians by default have zero excellence in their vocabulary. That whole concept of making a product look outstanding, beautiful, simple to use, easy to understand. Indians are that 19-20 chalta hai adjust maadi category. So we make products which are superfluous, all this simple, chalta hai attitude. And that is why the global audience doesn't buy our products. It doesn't buy our products. So it's extremely important. Talking about laggards, you're talking about laggards. First, which came first, Orkut or Facebook? But why is Facebook more beneficial? It's an American company. You know why? Simple things, simple, easy to use, and excellence. Anything in Facebook works. It doesn't crash or break down or give you bugs or throws errors at you, right? That simple difference is what, really when you go for a competitive quotation, very interesting. When you go for all these big government tenders and all of that, the 20 people will apply for these multi-crore projects. Ultimately, last 4 or 5 companies will remain. Those 4 or 5 companies invariably are Deloitte, KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers, the same fellows you'll see everywhere you go. You know what makes the difference at that point of time? The guy who can actually deliver what he says he will do with excellence, that 19-20 difference, that 19-20, that delta difference, that guy will get the thing. And he'll do it extremely well. So I want all of you to be, when I say blend in but stand out, you will blend in into this big crowd of 1,000 people. But you got to stand out by that excellence, that extra pizzazz that you bring to the table. And then you obviously the passion that you bring, the venture capital will bring and they'll fund it. So money is never the problem, by the way. Money is never the problem. You have to sell that, like Ayappa said, you have to sell it well, make a stellar product.
And Ayappa Nagubandi, glad to meet you all and get the opportunity to ask questions. So my question goes to Sam Rufus, Mr. Sam Rufus. Actually, when I checked the internet profile about you, there it was written that Mr. Sam Rufus is well known for his maverick ideas. So can you please give us few of the ideas to get a spark in our lives?
What's your name, madam?
Nitya Santoshi.
Nitya madam, please sit down, Nitya madam.
Thank you.
Miss Nitya, sir, madam, okay. Well, I'll give you a very quick one now because I don't want to take all this thing. Well, very quick one, I'll tell you. I'm talking, I don't know if you'll get, maybe you might get it. So when we go to corporates, when corporates go to these IITs, IIMs, and I'm sure you also have placements, right? Companies come to you for recruitment, right? So, I don't know if you know, companies actually pay colleges a lot of money to actually recruit, be the day one recruiter. You heard of the day one concept, right? Day one concept. So Deloitte, for example, used to pay, I'm just throwing a number, don't quote me, don't record me, and don't put it on YouTube. Deloitte used to pay, let's assume, 10 lakh rupees to be day one at IIM Bangalore. Right? And then they pay another 10 lakhs to be at IIM Lucknow. So they're paying so much of money to be the day one recruiters to get the best of people. You know what? I came up with an idea. I went up to my managing director and I said, why don't we do a competition called the Maverick competition. Now this Maverick was a competition among colleges, all the big B schools and all of that, to recognize the best and most street smart professionals. So we went to 4 zones, North Zone, South Zone, East Zone, West Zone, IITs and IIMs and all the other MBA colleges used to participate. We used to have regional competitions, just like the Apprentice show, which I am a big fan of. And we used to hire people who won the competition. So we, for less than 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees, went to all the B schools in the whole country and hired the best of the best without spending the earlier 60 lakh rupees, 70 lakh rupees to be the day one. Why? Because we did day minus 90. 90 days before the placement season itself, we are running this so-called competition and we got the best of the best talent and made them offers. That's one idea of creative. Six Degrees is a very simple book actually. It's a simple book that, I know Obadiah. Obadiah knows you. That is the second connection. Third connection is that. Fourth connection is you are a friend of that guy. And fifth connection, he is a friend of KCR's son. Sixth connection is KCR. Proven. Barack Obama, I'm not kidding when I said that. When Barack Obama was not yet president, he used to play basketball in Chicago, in the streets of Chicago. He used to help all the black people. And my friend used to help the same black people. He was an Indian, very rich, prominent Indian. And he knew Barack Obama extremely well. Same, I can, Satya Nadella, so I can give you that connection. So the degree is meaning 6 people. 6 people separate you from any other person on planet Earth. Oh yeah. LinkedIn shows that connection, that how many.
LinkedIn, if you use LinkedIn and you want to say how you connected to Barack Obama, it will show you that these are the degrees of separation and these are the people. Try that.
Good afternoon, sir. Troubles and problems. You didn't get the feeling of I quit, should I quit?
What is it? What is it? You know, see, it's the bottommost part of the earth, right? When you are at such a situation, there is nothing going further down. The only way is going up. And I had faced so many situations like that there was no way of going further down. So I took every situation after that like that. It was only about going up, that's all.
You know, in English, there's a saying, like what Aipa said, you have to look up to see the bottom. That means you're so low.
All right. I would like to pose my question to Sam. Thank you for your talk, sir. It was truly motivational. My question is, for India to become a pro-entrepreneur country, as you mentioned, shouldn't it call for a change in the current education system?
Can I ask you what change you want?
Sir, my personal opinion. You're asking me a personal opinion.
Yes.
The entire structure should change.
No, give me some 2-3 examples you give me. One or at least one example you give me.
Sir, first example would be the, I think we should inculcate more flexibility in the current curriculum so as to promote holistic development. Number 1 would be flexibility. Number 2 would be creating awareness in order to instill the various areas that are coming up. Third would be to instill a kind of scientific thinking. A person should not necessarily read science, a person should think scientifically. According to me, the kind of education that I've been through, even though we've been taught all that I need to further my career skills, I haven't been, those thoughts I think they need to be instilled in order for us to become pro-entrepreneur.
Can I answer you very quickly? Number 1, you said in terms of flexibility, all your education doesn't happen in classroom, doesn't necessarily have to end with the classroom. So you don't have to blame the education system. You can do over and above on YouTube, on social media, on all your websites. So it's your appetite. Everybody say appetite. It's your appetite. It's your opika. It's your what you want to learn. It's your appetite to learn that really defines you and not just your classroom.
I reject your point because you were the one who were telling that our parents are, pass away. But obviously, all the parents, at least in the future generation people, are surely going to join their kids in the schools. So I don't think they'll be having so much of awareness or so much of time to check out YouTube videos or
Plato, I get your point. You know what Plato said? Education gives you not education. Boss, back in the day, if I said it, I have a valid reason.
Yes, I totally got your point. But little kids, I don't think they would surely have this much of thinking in their minds.
See, for them, basic thing is important. So school gives basic things, like for example, how to swim, how to ride a bicycle, what is 1 + 1 = 2. Basic stuff, school has to give you that. It's there in every religious system, and it's there in every country of the world, economy of the world, whether it's developed or not. So basic portion is definitely there. But it doesn't stop me from sending my son to an additional piano class or additional anything else he wants to learn. So what I'm trying to say is really that your education and blaming the education system In 21st century, July 25th today? Today 25th is wrong. Because the system of the country, yes, they are having so many symbols. Can I tell you one thing? Lot of colleges do not have erudite. Did you know that? We are here to reshape your thinking, correct? We are here to give you opportunities of what the outside world is looking for when they want to hire you, correct? Lot of colleges don't even have this guest lecture system where people from the industry come and talk to you about it. So in this scenario, yeah, you know what I feel in life? Everybody ready for this? Yes. Eat the chicken, leave the bones. Understood? Thank you. There's so many tube lights here, huh? No, thank you. You guys are very smart. Eat the chicken, leave the bones. There will be good things thrown at you, there will be bad things thrown at you. There will be systematic problems that which really affect you, and there are other freedom areas where you can totally explore. Take the good things in life and leave the bad things or the bones out of life.
Alright, so finishing with the panel round, Ayappa wants to pose a question to all our students. So,
how many of you want to be an entrepreneur? Don't raise hands. Think, I haven't completed the question. Seriously, in the sense that like after you graduate, you'll not look for a job and you'll seriously want to explore an idea and start a company. How many of you? Okay. To the people who have raised hands, can you earn 10,000 rupees next month? How? How? Sorry?
It's because of my idea, my contacts, and I would go and talk to them. And once I talk to them, I would get an idea about, is my work actually worth it of 10,000?
No, how do you earn 10,000? At the end of next month, say August 31st,
Practically,
I want 10,000 rupees in your hand. How do you go about earning 10,000?
Practically, I'm a photographer.
Right.
So, I will start my skills, I will make my contacts, meet the client, get a deal and start working for it.
Done.
And
Good.
I would aim for 20, not 10.
Done. Good. Now let's give opportunities to others. 1, 2.
I would think where I can get so much of revenue. So right now Hyderabad is very hot for the events that happen in every pub. So what am I good at that I can earn through these events which give me money quickly? So I also do photography. So let's just say if I'm taking photography, I'm really good at it. If I get an event right tomorrow, I'll be going, am I sure of that? Let me think. Yes, I am sure of that. Do I have the equipment? Yes, I have the equipment. So I'm going positive. I've got a client. Yes, I've got Facebook all the time, gives me a connection to all the clients. There I go, I put it, I get all the clients' information, they call me, we meet, we talk per event. Let's just say he will pay me 3,000 as a beginner. So there are like 4 events in a month, say giving 4 weekends. So I can get.
Got it. Anybody who wants to say photography, please don't.
Because I'm already doing that and I'm actually earning a lot of money. So yeah, I will earn 10,000 rupees in the next month, just like that.
Okay, great. What about you? You had some. Okay, I got another hand. I saw another hand. Somebody? Yeah, I can hear. Please.
Basically, in India right now, if you look around, we will, if we want to earn money, we would like to have a connection. Connection is the first important thing right now in the world. In India, if you don't have any connection, you cannot start anything. You cannot start. If you don't have any good contact with someone who is powerful, you can't do anything.
No theory. I'm asking you how. Will you earn 10,000 baht? If yes, how? Got it.
Practically.
But he's looking for somebody who can join him as a co-founder and develop that idea. So there are a lot of people who are looking for talent, not just employees. Now what you have to do is, again emphasizing, use these events to ask intelligent questions, 30 seconds, prove that what you are. If you ask an intelligent question, if you say like, this is what it is, people like me will remember. If somebody comes up with some concept, I can say that, hey, I knew somebody, why I recommend you. He will be the co-founder and he'll lead the idea. You will earn a lot more money, lot more you'll get a lot more satisfaction. Your careers will be different. Now in Hyderabad, over the last 1 year or so, there have been a lot of events happening, a lot of hackathons happening. Go attend those events, not just as an audience. Go participate in this audience. What will happen is that like there will be somebody who will notice you, you'll get a job a lot more easier and faster. If you just graduate, take your resume to a company, the chances would be like very thin. You would have to be good at a lot of things, not just academics. When you go to events like this, you'll get a lot more opportunities where you can showcase your real talent and get the job.
And on this note, we end today's panel discussion. I once again thank Ayappa Nagubandi and Samuel Rufus Nallaraj for joining us here in Loyola Academy. Thank you.
I'd like to now call upon Ms. Bhavna Murli to give the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Loyola Academy, I take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to the speakers of the day, Mr. Ayappa Nagubandi and Mr. Sam Rufus Nallaraj, for taking time out of their busy schedule to be amongst us today. It was brilliant to have a conversation with both of you. Students of Loyola Academy are indeed fortunate to learn from you. Thanks are also due to the management of the college. I would like to thank the Rector, Reverend Father A. Santiago, and correspondent, Reverend Father J. Thainese, for being a pillar of strength. The Principal, Reverend Father Dr. K. S. Kasmir, for always helping us and encouraging us. The Vice Principal UG, Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, for giving us guidance and always keeping our confidence up. The Vice Principal PG, Reverend Father K. Anil Kumar, for all your cooperation. I would also like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Sadhna Jaiswal, Dean of Academics and Staff Coordinator for this event. Ma'am, thank you for never turning down any of our requests and always encouraging our ideas. I would also like to thank all the teachers who have been very supportive all through. Thank you, Obedia, for taking time to moderate the session and also talking about the climate reality. I also take this opportunity to thank each and every student volunteer who's been working for the event tirelessly and not complaining one bit about anything. I thank every volunteer behind designing of the logos, sending out invitations, everyone helping us in the organizing the event. And a special mention goes out to all the photographers and the videographers at the event today. In the end, I would thank all of you for being a very great audience. Thank you.
Erudite has been established so as to harvest a community of visionaries, leaders, and global citizens. And we all fervently hope together that today we were able to deliver you with something that you could take back and bring a change in your life and the lives you touch. As we draw curtains to the inaugural session of Erudite, it is time that we ask ourselves, are we here to witness the change? Are we here to see the world perish? Are we here to see history being made? No. We are here to be the change. We are here to save the world. We are here to make history. This is Varun Vasudev signing off. And before I do, may I request you all to rise for the national anthem.
You have listened to two eminent personalities today, and you have understood the content of it. And now we are not going to become the timetable to people. Now what is the time for us now? 1? Okay, Father, you have to give 1 hour for us for lunch, and then only we could able to sit over here. Otherwise, we have to run over from here. That is not the thing, dear students. It's not the time for us. Okay? It's the content that we have received. The amount of content that we have received. Yesterday I was asking, how many of you would ask questions? So many of you have raised your hands. But today, after listening to the content, what happened to the minds? The stirring minds. No? It's not that you have gone wrong, but still, we will be conducting many more sessions. We will be conducting. But it's the participation. It's the participation that is required for. And we need to be enthusiastic to participate. And definitely, I presume that this session has given you so much that you can turn out to be something. Sparkers of Loyola Academy. How do you become a Sparker? How do you become a Sparker? Now volunteered only, here there are around 400 students. Now next session, talk about, this is the way you are going to talk about to the other students, and the session is very important. And let it be 800 students next time. And let it be 1200, let it be 1500, 2000, 3000, not only Loyola, but students from other colleges also should participate. That is our enthusiasm. That's going to be our enthusiasm. And one more thing, one more manners I want to teach. When you speak through the mic. No, just keep the mic like this. No, in spite of my passing the word that you have to speak louder, no, at least learn from me. Huh? At least learn from me. No, every day I'll be telling, come on student, run up from there, bell has gone. No? Yes, we need to culture our voice. We need to culture our voice. No? We need to develop, not to offend the other, but to protect the other but to promote the other. So dear students, yesterday we spoke, and more or less, I have never met these two eminent personalities. But what we have thought, that we need to get something, and ultimately they too are posing that relationship is very important. Relationship is very important. Relate yourselves here, now, and in this camp.